welcome to this episode of Empowered Entrepreneur. My guest today is Kyle Kroger, and he is the founder and owner of Viva Travelers. He is also a dad, a husband, and a seasoned traveler. Kyle started Viva Travelers during a trip to Italy. Since he's known to be a street traveler, that's where he got the name to found the company. Kyle helps travelers find their next adventure through his videography and photography, which can be seen on the Viva Travelers YouTube channel. His writing has been featured on Redfin, CNN, Forbes, and Travel and Leisure. Outside of writing, his videography has been featured in the Telegraph and other media outlets worldwide. Welcome, Kyle. So glad to have you.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Vanessa. Thanks for having me on. Excited to chat and share my story.
Let's dive in. How did you come up with the idea of the digital slowmans?
Yeah, it was really sort of a designer kind of life mentality, right? Of knowing some of my interests and like what I wanted my lifestyle to be in a way, and really working backwards towards that. And so, I spent a lot of time, so my background was in finance. I spent a lot of time in a corporate finance role, and that was very fulfilling. Got a lot done, and I still love finance and that type of work. But I did also realize that I wanted something more. Wanted something more fulfilling. Wanted to create something, and a big passion of mine was always just being on the move, right, and traveling and just exploring and learning through just experience. And so that came to mind, and I really wanted to. Every time I travel, that it basically served as like creating content as like a journal in a way. So like if I'm gonna create a journal about my travel experiences, it might as well just be on the web, right? Might as well document it and just have it be available for everyone. And then not only that, compare it, like it was also sort of like lifestyle business, right? So like being able to do that for a living, and I wanted something that wasn't really, never really felt like a job, right? As an entrepreneur, and I'm sure you know, is like it's not always the case, right? There's times where it feels like a job, but more time, more often than not, it's a passion. It's a life. Like it's everything I kind of breathe. And so all of that, and then just the ability to live in different places was really fascinating to me. So wanted to solve around that.
Yeah, so I hear that you like had this dream and you worked backwards, which is basically project management. If you have the end goal in sight and you work backwards in order to move forwards, what obstacles did you have in the beginning stages?
I think the ability to just start and really let go of like things that are going to be perfect, right? And I think sometimes that's the biggest barrier for people to start in the first place, right? It's just like either, and that's a good sign if you care that much. But big hurdle, right? Stage zero is just basically getting over that, just kind of letting go and being like, I know I need to start this. I know, and then it may be like my first article I ever wrote was terrible, right? I mean, I'm not a writer, but I slowly, learned about different things along the way. And so that very first step was like a big part of that. And it sounds very simple, but it is a big point. And I think that holds some people back of doing some of their passions is that, think like it needs to be something grand or it needs to like be the next trip advisor or something, right? But if you can build a small tribe of 100 people, like that's one goal and one building block to kind of build off further.
So how long has Viva Travelers been in business?
Yeah, just about 3 years now. And I kind of see 3 years. It was a side project while I was working full time. But I did, quit my job just about 2.5 years ago now. So like that's when I kind of view it as like that's when I started, really treating it like a full business, in a way. And so 2.5, 3 years now. And so still in the early stages, and that comes with cycles for sure of ups and downs. But you follow the passion, follow the journey. It'll work out.
Yeah. Are you still a solopreneur?
Yeah, right now we have a team of 12 writers and a handful of editors, a couple editors, and then operations team, support team as well, two individuals there. So And that's across 6 different time zones, which to me was like a beautiful thing. I love that concept of connecting with people around the world and really getting to know them and working with them, but like on a distributed basis, right? And getting to know somebody and their culture from a very far part of away from the world, and but also like yeah, getting to know them through that process, and building a connection with them. So, and then we have expat writers that live in Europe, in France, and things like that. So, but end of the day, I'm the only sort of like full-time employee, if you will.
Awesome. So they're like contractors.
Yeah, contributing writers, and yeah,
So they submit articles that they've written based on their trips.
yep, yep. And that a big part of that was a building block of I knew I couldn't do it alone. I also thought that it wouldn't do it justice of telling a travel story if it was only through my lens. I'm only one perspective. I think everyone that we write, we embody the same type of travel, but like that can come down to so many different things, right? In the way that we experience things or what we learn from it. And so I really wanted to have those varying perspectives for everyone to build off of and kind of have a community along the way.
That's so awesome. I really love that idea that you understood that there are different types of people and you wanted to resonate with a greater variety. So you have a greater variety of writers.
Yeah, yeah, and I think it showcases different skill sets and strengths. Writers were the people on our team way better writers than me. They're excellent. And have great passion. And I suggest anyone to try to, to read some of their stuff and have experiences of stuff that's like on my bucket list. And so that's the benefit too, is like some writers and some people on our team, it's like they were in the Arctic Circle or something. And it's like, oh man, I always wanted to go there. And but you can't be everywhere, right? And so having that well-rounded approach has been really fun.
Awesome. So what is your favorite location that you've gone to?
Well, so I moved from the Twin Cities, Minnesota, United States to Amsterdam. I did that because that was my favorite travel destination. I always loved coming here, and it was a goal of mine. I was back when I was young, I came here for the first time and I left the city being like, hey, I want to live in the city at some point in my life. And so it was a big moment being like, oh, let's do this. And so now I'm here. But beyond that, I love Tokyo, Japan. It was a fabulous city. I would go there anytime I could. A beautiful city, great people, great food. Yeah, and the list goes on. I could keep going. It's hard to always pick one, but Tokyo and Amsterdam are pretty top notch to me.
So what does your business model look like since it's such a unique industry?
Yeah, it's always interesting when I kind of try to describe it. I mean, we advertising is a big part of it, right? So display advertising, and that's just given how much we work on our content and provide our stories and perspectives, like that kind of just keeps us running, honestly. Everyone works so hard to really tell our story, and we don't take any sponsored or like press trips. I've never had like a full paid trip or anything like that. For our content, it's always, it's been out of pocket. And so we're doing it because it's our passion. So that ends up being a little bit tough business model, right? Because you do rely on other parties, right? And then also, so anytime somebody books a hotel, that we recommend in our travel guides or something, we've likely stayed at it or we know it pretty well. We would get a commission or small percentage off of that. But that, again, not like that helps, keep us going, really. And we'd love to, one thing I'd love to do is take in the last 3 years, like over 50,000 photos. And I have to think that there's 50 of them that would go into a nice coffee table book or a travel guide that people would appreciate. So I'd love to have a product that really showcases our stories.
That's such an amazing thing that you have already started thinking about ways to develop the business more than just the traveling.
Yeah, yeah. Content is hard, especially in today's age, right? Where things are changing so rapidly and there's so many different forms of content. And there's nothing that prohibits a lot of people from starting it. And that's a beautiful thing. I love that because anyone can be independent. So I encourage anyone out there, right, to go with the little guys. If you're looking for content or looking to know something or learn something, opt for the independent person, the independent perspective, because there's a lot of people doing it out of passion and not necessarily, for profits, right? And so that's kind of our perspective.
Very cool. Do you have any final thoughts for the audience in regards to how to make their dreams a reality?
Yeah, I think the one thing that's kind of cool is, and I think I'm a true believer that it works, is writing down whatever that dream is, or you don't even have to write anything. Print it out, whatever that looks like. If there's an image of what that dream is, print it out, put it in your wallet, put it in your purse, next to your mirror when you brush your teeth every morning. And there's a habit of your mind kind of mentally programming that we're always thinking, right? And so your mind is mentally going to continually, develop itself to navigate towards that. And you'd be really surprised at how impactful that can be.
Yes, manifestation. Mhm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Kyle.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
And all your links will be in the show notes for the listeners.
Great.